Hello everyone, it's Brittany of Purslane Gardens, and it is August 18th, so we're in the middle of August today. I'm out in the garden. It's a Saturday morning. I'm about to start my garden work for the weekend, but I wanted to show you what the garden is looking like before I start pulling the Bermuda grass, to kind of show you how the transition to removing it from the garden is going. And we'll just walk around. We've completed some projects in the past couple of weeks, so I'll update you on all of that and just show you how the garden is looking. All right. Okay, and then on the porch here, I have 2 cherry tomatoes in pots. The aloes that I repotted are making so many little babies. And I have just some herbs. We started a tray of bulb onions that are doing okay. Not super great germination, but it may turn around. Then we just have some fall greens started. Lots of brassicas, bok choys, kales. These are Brussels sprouts. We have some lettuce, and then spinach and chard. We took measurements recently to get a rough idea of how much space we're working with. So between the small garden here next to the side of the house and then the big garden in the front of the house, that space is 1/20th of an acre. And then when you include on the other side of the porch where I have my fig trees and perennial plants, we're at 1/14th of an acre. And that's the space that's within our fence. Alright, so just to kind of give you guys a reference of how much space we're growing in. So I'm going to start here in garden 1. I also went through and named all of my gardens, so for my note taking purposes, I'll have a better idea of what I'm talking about. And then I always start with the house's zone 0. So this is like going away from the house, bed 1, bed 2, bed 3, bed 4, bed 5. And that's just a really easy way to keep track. And I do the same thing in the big garden here. Alright, so let's start here. I'll show you in the small garden. And the cover crop that I cut down, I mean, there's Bermuda coming up in it, but not too bad. It's pretty much done in here, and we haven't weeded in here in a couple weeks. So I would say it's looking pretty good. We have a volunteer squash in this bed that is just like growing all the way across, which is pretty awesome. I have some pole beans that I planted. And then there's also tomatoes, new tomatoes coming up. And these are like the last of the ones I started from seed that we just got in the ground, but they are just taking off like crazy. Here's some of my Cherokee Trail of Tears beans coming up. What else is going on in here? Nothing too much. The basils are just super happy. I have like this entire, it looks like just a giant bush of holy basil there. And my red Russian kale that had started to do better, like harlequin beetles and other pests came back in, but now you'll see like these little, they look like little pieces of rice. Those are all wasp eggs. So wasps are going to come back in, and hopefully they'll help keep these plants alive. I don't know if they're going to make it, but I'm curious to see what happens. Hopefully they will. Yeah, and then we tried using a soaker hose with our rainwater tank. It doesn't work terribly well, but it was a good experiment. There's not enough water pressure. Here's some dry beans that I planted on 7/28. I'm trialing 4 new varieties of dry beans. I have my Genovese basil, which is huge. And I actually saw a hummingbird here the other day on the basil flowers, so I'm really excited to see that. Here's more dry beans, a tomato, and pretty much most of my tomatoes this year are volunteers. I have some scarlet runner beans that are going to climb up the trellis. My mint collection, which I really need to get in the ground. And then just more volunteer tomatoes and whatnot. These really pretty flowers that came up. And these, I saw a hummingbird moth eating from the other day, which means I need to keep an eye on my tomatoes because that's what tomato hornworms are. It's from the hummingbird moth. I just wanted to show you the size of... Oh, it's ripening! How exciting. Look at this. Huge tomato volunteer. It's just so impressive. Alright, and then here's my Thai basil, marigold, golden finches in the garden, enjoying those. And the last tomato plant I want to show you over here, because I think it's so cool, is this one. That is just a huge tomato. Looks like we're getting some bad leaves on here, so I'll have to work on that later today. Yeah, so this is garden 1, and yeah, happy with how it's doing with the grass. See, this is probably like the worst of the grass here. Alright, let's move on. Okay, we're gonna go out here for a quick tour over here. We'll start in what I call the root bed. I started weeding this 2 weeks ago. I had really bad Bermuda. Like, all of this is all the Bermuda I pulled out of it. You could see there's definitely still Bermuda in here, but it's getting a lot better. And then I just cut open these soil bags and use them kind of as like a tarp to help suppress, try to help suppress. And here are the beautiful Jerusalem artichokes. And my horseradish plant is doing okay, which is exciting. And then I have a bunch of like self-seeding lettuce and other, I mean it's mostly lettuce. And then over there, that green plant is a variety of wild sorrel called lamb sorrel. So that's that. And then we can come over to the Hugo mound, which is pretty much done. I think all of the squash plants have died at this point. The tomatoes are still doing okay though, although most of them are leaning over. You can just see how many squash bugs we have. It's kind of insane. But our plan for this is just to like add way more straw on top of this. Just let it break down over the winter. Because you can see the soil's just like North Carolina clay. It just needs a lot of like nutrition. So that's our plan for this, to see what happens with it next year. Alright, now let's go into the big garden. Okay, so here's the big garden. Kind of have herbs and then potatoes coming, or tomatoes, volunteers coming up everywhere. Here's some new fresh beans that we're trialing. We got 4 new varieties to try to see what we like the best. The oregano patch is doing very well. We have some potato plants here that are probably the healthiest ones we've grown so far. I just noticed that it looks like they're going to have flowers, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. I need to look that up. Here are the 5 tomato plants that our friend gave us. They're doing well. Of course, basil everywhere, more beans. We'll walk over there in a moment. I wanted to show you our strawberries. They're putting out runners all across the bed. More basil. We have more Thai basil and holy basil there. This was my first planting of beans, and I've actually been saving the seed from them as the pods dry. So that's nice. I think this is generation 3. So I'm curious to see what happens. Obviously, I'm planting them too close to each other, and I've noticed in this planting over here, I have seen bees cross-pollinating the varieties. So, I mean, for me, like, I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to see what happens to the seed next year. Here on the fence line, we filled the gutter with soil. lettuce seeds in here. The plan is for next year is to plant strawberries in here, but we don't have enough strawberries right now, so that will be for next year. Here is, I think, my third planting or second planting of beans, and this is my favorite contender. It's putting on a huge crop, so it looks like we might be eating some beans for dinner tonight. They're just loaded with flowers. Here are some pinto beans that I got from the grocery store that I just decided to plant. I think there's like 5 varieties planted here. Here's the tomatoes that I grew from seed, and these are ones that were volunteers in my garden last year, so they were likely hybrids, and it's really cool because like I did not grow a tomato like this last year. Like, this is just what it's came out to be this year. It's kind of like a weird shape. I'm really excited to save the seed from it and then see what I get next year. Then I have some cherries. It looks like we've got the first one ripening down here. That's great. We haven't ate any homegrown cherry tomatoes yet this year, just Romas. And it looks like this one's going to be a Roma tomato. And then we have another planting of beans. And these are ones I saved from seed. And I think I must have gotten some cross-pollination because I'm getting some different types. Like, some of them are half runners, some of them are staying bush type, but they're all from the same seed. So curious to see what happens with that. More beans. We started getting flowers and fruit on our Goji Berries. You can see they have some serious flea beetle pressure, but they're still producing flowers and fruit. Back here you can see all the little fruit forming on the Goji berry. Here's a nice little cluster. We put up a trellis for our berries. If you remember, they were just like sprawled out all over the floor. And it looks like they're enjoying it. They're putting off a lot of new growth. We got some other cattle panels so we could grow peas up them and like kind of have a permanent, not permanent, but like these panels are going to be in our garden for a really long time. So it was a good investment. We had a volunteer, which I thought was a cucumber. Somebody kindly informed me that it's a melon, and you can see there it definitely is a melon. I've never grown melons before, so I think it's pretty cool, like, to see how fast this little melon is growing. Then we did another planting of potatoes, and they're coming up. And what's cool is like this one like had just a bunch of random seeds I dropped in here, and the potato plant that's planted within, I guess, this cover crop, those ones are doing the best. So that's awesome to see. What else can I show you? I can show you the Egyptian walking onions. Here's parsley and beans. We just have so many beans planted. The self-seeded radish and arugula. And here are the Egyptian walking onions. And you can see most of them have came up now, which is wonderful. There's some self-seeded cilantro within the bed that's also came up. And we're so excited about these. Alright. So moving back over here, showed you the potatoes. This is just arugula and radish that came up. Let's see. Here's a tomato volunteer that has some ripening fruits. This one has some more pest pressure than others. I think maybe because we didn't stake it at all, it's low to the ground, but I think we should still get some fruit from it. And it looks like it's starting to get some disease as well. Alright, and let's see, the blueberries are still putting on new growth. This tomato plant is starting to ripen. This is our brown turkey fig that we bought recently. We also got 2 more fig plants. They were on discount at Walmart. This one is a black mission fig. Over here is my, I think it's the little ruby. That one's doing really well. Let's see what else. This fig plant's pretty much dead at this point. The mugwort flowers are going to open soon. Here's one of my Celeste figs. The original strawberry bed. This has been our first tomato volunteer to produce. There's my Ishia fig. Then we have one other new fig tree right here, which is a Marcelli's fig. Okay, and then I can show you we finally have pretty much finished up the greenhouse. Helps if I turn the handle. Here is where I will be doing my transplants in the future. Yay! And we got the self-ventilating hinge fixed. We replaced the screen on the door. And my plan for this half of it is to just put in a garden bed in here to grow stuff over the winter. And maybe we'll put in some like more tropical plants in here. It'd be fun to try and, well, I need to get like a thermometer so I can track the temperature and humidity in here. So that's on the list. And then in other exciting news, we harvested our first peaches from our tree this week. Okay, so that wraps up my mid-August garden tour. And I thank you guys for watching, and I hope that your summer gardens are going well, that you're getting ready for your fall garden. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!